On today's show,
we get a blast from the Aqua Kids past.
So, ready to make a difference?
Building a better planet starts with you. Aqua Kids, traveling around the world, going where we've never been before, having fun and so much more, learning from our friends of the sea, saving them is up to you and me. Aqua Kids.
hey everyone at home, and welcome to a very nostalgic episode of Aqua Kids. I'm Katie.
And I'm Drew. And on today's episode, we're headed back into the Aqua Kids past.
That's right, we met up with past host Molly this summer and had an awesome time sharing our adventures.
We sure did. Well, we have lots of stories to tell, so let's go get started.
Okay.
So Molly, I know you've been involved with Aqua Kids longer than I've been alive. But I mean, no, I didn't mean it that way.
Pretty confident you did, Katie.
But anyways, tell us how you got started.
I don't know if I want to now, really, after that intro. I started when I was 9. You started when you were 7?
Yeah.
So you're beating me. A couple years. I started when I was 9. I actually auditioned for it, and I just was at the right place at the right time. I was getting some headshots done, some pictures, and the woman that did my makeup was actually Carol Stover, and she's the wife of George. They founded the show. So she was like, my husband's doing this thing, you should audition for it. And so I did, and I think there are 2 reasons why I was cast. Not for talent at all. I think it was because during a break, there was a vending machine and I was getting a pack of M&Ms, I think, and a pack of 2 fell from the vending machine, and so I just grabbed the second bag and handed it behind me to the guy in line who would turn out to be the producer that I would work with for the next 15 years of my life. So I bribed him.
Nice.
And then I was the only idiot kid during the audition that said yes and was excited about swimming with sharks. None of the other kids said that they would do it, so I think they were like, well, at least if we cast this kid, we can at least show some child swimming with sharks. And that was the first episode that I filmed, was in the Bahamas, and it was diving with sharks. So.
That's awesome.
So Molly, you did this show for 15 years. What are some of the unexpected things that happen on the show?
I don't know why this is the first thing that comes to mind. It's really, really gross. But it was unexpected at the time. We were working in the Florida Everglades, and it was a really, really hot day. And I'm sure we were all dehydrated, and I just remember being that sticky, wet, sweat, gross feeling.
Takahashi.
And probably, yeah. And we were doing pythons, which should be really cool. I'm not afraid of snakes. And it had been action-packed. Their teeth go backwards, so if they bite on something, you have to actually pull the head forward to get it to release. So they were biting pants legs and all this stuff, and no one was hurt, and we were safe about it. But it was an action-packed show, so it should have been really, really cool. And towards the end of the show, we were holding this massive python that had been captured, and what we knew was that they knew it had eaten a cat the week prior. So I'm sorry, you said it ate a cat? Yeah, I don't know how they knew this, but that's what they had told us off camera. So I'm holding the end of the snake, which I was just relieved to not be on the head end for once, and the snake's body started moving, and you could see the lump moving down the snake's body. And I remember sitting there, and it was so hot, and I was just getting more and more nauseous thinking about this cat skeleton coming out of it.
Oh.
And instead, it started excreting something out of it, and it looked almost like pieces of white bleached coral. That's the only way I can describe it. And the musk odor was so gross. It just smelled so bad. And it's the only time I've really come close to throwing up on camera. And it turns out it was urine. They actually don't urinate liquid. It was they urinate a solid. And it just landed in front of me, and I could not close that show faster. I was so ready for that day to end.
Thank you, goodbye.
I think what people don't know is that there's so many unexpected things that happen kind of behind the scenes and also during filming that we have to do so many takes for some reason. Sometimes, they're funny. Sometimes they're just crazy.
George
what are some of the things that you
says,
can remember?
Take 85.
Right.
Yeah, the editors on this show have a really tough job to make it seem concise.
Can you remember some moments that you definitely were like, oh my goodness, what's going wrong at this moment behind the scenes that were just like unexpected?
I remember so many times where I could not say the names of places.
Oh,
I think all of us have
Homosassa
this
Springs State
problem.
Wildlife National Park. What are the hardest names you've had to remember?
all right.
There's some that are ridiculous.
There was it was Fakahatchee Strain Preserve State Park in Copeland, Florida. That one took me a few tries because we had the mosquito net on because like my face was blowing up. My face
was
blowing
like
up.
starting to swell from
Yeah,
all the
so they were like,
mosquitoes.
you gotta get the mosquito net. So I put that on, and then they're just like, all right, let's try again. So I pulled it off real quick because they're like biting my face, and I'm just like, hey everybody at home, welcome to another exciting episode of Aqua Kids. I'm Drew, and today we're at the Fakahatchee Strain Preserve State Park in Copeland, Florida. We're gonna be looking at the gators and the snakes, and it was just like, and it took like 50 tries, and it was bad. Yeah.
It was great.
How about you?
I can't think of any on the spot.
I can remember
blocked
two
these
things.
from my
Like
memory.
one of the times we were in Chicago, and we were filming at a bait shop, and it was one of my first trips, and I could not. You and I were doing it, Drew,
I
and we were
remember
trying
that.
to say viral hemorrhagic septicemia,
Viral hemorrhagic septicemia.
and we
I
had
think I
so
gotta
much
say that now.
trouble like doing that segment. We had to do so many takes. But another thing that I remember is in Maine. There's so many bugs. Like on screen,
They were everywhere.
it's like when you're on camera, you don't want to be swatting at your face the whole time.
You
But
just
I
have
remember,
to watch them eat you.
I remember
this
there's
the-
this time
is this
that
the
like
time when
no,
the-
there's a horsefly that landed on my nose, and I was trying to like blow it off my nose while talking without like, and all I wanted to do was just like, it's my nose.
You had a mic on. You had a mic on, so they were all hearing.
So funny things like that happen that you don't expect, that you can't see all the bugs, but
Yeah,
we're kind
yeah.
of like reacting.
And that
to
same trip when the mosquito landed right under your like sideburn thing, and it was just sucking your blood while
You
you were
didn't
talking.
smack
And,
it off.
Well, I was going to, but the camera was on you, and I just saw it getting bigger. And
Yeah, just a
And
little
finally,
bubble of
finally, it
blood.
just let go and just fell. Like, it was, I
Got
was
so
like-
weighed down. I remember one of, I actually really want to bring him out here, but he has audio equipment on him currently. I remember everyone, I think it's common knowledge now that I'm not a big bird fan. I just don't like them. I've been bit by so many. I worked with alligators and crocodiles and sharks and crabs and all these things that could actually hurt you, and it's birds every single time. They nail me. And this particular episode we were working with penguins, which are probably my least favorite.
They
Were
are
you on this
so-
one?
Yes, I
I
was.
remember. And I always have the food bucket anyway, so they always associate me with food. And I remember standing trying to deliver my lines, which I hadn't. You know, our lines aren't scripted, so we're actually having to think when we're delivering these. They're not regurgitated. And I just remember trying to talk to the camera, and the penguins are biting my feet, and I'm looking, and they're biting the cable that connects the audio person to the camera, and they're just biting the cable. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this day won't end. They're awful.
It is amazing to think about just how long Aqua Kids has been on the air.
9 years. It really shows how interested people are in protecting our environment.
Absolutely. Don't go away. When Aqua Kids comes back, you won't want to miss the Aqua Kids stories about on-camera injuries.
Aqua Kids presents another Aqua Kids Pop Quiz. Here's one for all you sci-fi fans. Most animals on Earth have iron-based blood, but this amazing animal has copper-based blood. Is it A, the goblin shark, B, the horseshoe crab, or C, the vampire squid? Don't go into hyperspace. I'll have the answer after the break. We're back with the answer to today's Aqua Kids Pop Quiz. Greetings, Earthlings. So, have you guessed which animal has copper-based blood? If you said B, the horseshoe crab, then your superior intellect has once again saved the day. Live green and prosper. Okay, beam me up. Welcome back to Aqua Kids.
Let's go talk to Molly and hear some more fun stories.
All right.
All right, Molly. So we obviously have some of our favorite episodes, but what were yours?
There've been so many. Like
I mean,
15 years, gotta love
yeah.
you there. I loved, and I always love when we do it, going to Homosassa Springs in Florida and swimming with the manatees, because it's wild animals. They choose their level of interaction with you, so if they choose to not come up to you,
One time,
then yeah, go ahead.
when we were
Go ahead and
doing
interrupt me, Katie. Totally.
when we were doing the manatee swim, a baby manatee actually came up to my hair and just started chewing on it. They thought, I don't know, my hair maybe looked like grass, vegetation, something. Just started eating my hair. It was so funny.
Yeah, I remember one time there was a mom and a baby, and the baby came up to me, and the mom peaced out and was like, "She's on you for the next
So you were
hour."
the manatee babysitter.
I was honored.
The walrus.
And then I remember, obviously, the sea turtle release. You guys just did this. It's just so neat seeing an animal that is supposed to be in the wild, that was, for whatever reason, unable to be in the wild, and then to have people that give it so much love, and you know, they even surround each sea turtle that comes in and sits and prays with it, and I think it's just so neat because they're reptiles. You know, most people don't think of them as having emotional capabilities, and it's just neat to see so many people come together for the common goal of getting an animal healthy again and getting it back into the wild, and it's just neat seeing them taking those final strokes to
Absolutely. We never put the animals in danger, but sometimes in doing that, we have to put ourselves in some danger. So have you ever been injured while on camera?
We were in Bimini, and the sun was setting, and we were losing our light, and we still had to do a show close, and we were taking a golf cart around, and I got mad and went to leap off the golf cart, and George stopped the cart at the same time. I just catapulted off and ended up breaking my ankle. The perk of this story is that the next day that was the day to swim with wild spotted dolphins in Bimini.
Oh, wow.
And I just put a fin in my non-broken ankle, which I didn't know was broken at the time.
Well, I think one of the worst injuries
And,
that we've
well, I
seen.
didn't finish. You're so excited. I'm sorry,
so
I'm taking
excited.
forever. Anyway, when I got on the water, maybe it's because I only had one fin on and they thought that was stupid, or they could detect that there was something wrong with my ankle. The dolphins paid a lot of attention to that ankle, and as a result, they stayed around for a really long time and played with the cameras. And they, you know, they're wild. They can choose to be as involved as they want, but we would do spirals under the water, and they would mimic our behavior and stuff. It was really, really fun. So it may have gotten us some good footage.
That's so strange to see how those animals reacted, and they knew.
That was my theory. I have no stats to back that up, but yeah, I think they did. I mean, they detect all kinds of things. They can see density.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Clay?
Karma got
No, I'm
Karma got him back.
Off my soapbox.
Karma got him back.
Really? Because what happened was George got injured one time when we were in Florida, and it was pretty intense because we were in the middle of a stormwater treatment area, and we were out there in airboats.
Right before a storm.
And
There's a
there
storm
was a storm coming, and so you're in
storms, and there's a
Just
storm
like
coming
tonight.
now.
you're in the middle of miles and miles of water, and you're in a metal boat. So you're trying we're trying to get back before the storm, maybe going a little fast. I actually had my GoPro filming at the time, holding in my hand as the rain was coming down. And George and the sound guys and the camera guys were in the first airboat. And they took off really fast, and we were trying to follow them. All the Aqua Kids were in the second airboat. And all that I remember is that we suddenly break through all these reeds, and the first airboat is dead in the water. It's not moving. And all I see is there's two people suddenly like floating in the water, and what happened was they hit like a log or something in their
Sandbar.
reeds,
It was a
sandbar, and they were like kind of ejected from the airboat.
I think
like,
ejected is an understatement.
Well, it was more of
I know, it was really
hit the
bad.
metal side and then ejected.
Yeah.
But the terrible thing is, like, things got wet, like camera gear, you know, you
Camera
don't want to
gear
get
was
that
done.
wet.
Adam's waders
And
were
then
filling up.
George, you cracked a rib. I mean, and you still went to the phone store and got your phone before going to the hospital.
Adam hurt his foot. That was pretty funny.
I just remember
Standard.
my first reaction when I saw them in the water. I just started cracking up because I thought this was like some crazy joke. I was like, why are they in the water? Like, why are they
cameras and the
swimming?
sound
Like,
gear and all the
what are they
mics
doing?
floating around. I was like,
God.
that's
And
on
then
purpose.
all of a
Hilarious.
sudden I realized that something wasn't quite right when I saw Adam's face of just pure, I don't know what it was, anguish.
Molly made a great point about all the people we meet when filming these episodes.
I know, Drew. We really are so lucky to have met so many people that are passionate about preserving our marine environments.
Stick with us. When Aqua Kids returns, learn what being on the show means to each Aqua Kid.
Aqua Kids salutes Aqua Heroes, people working hard to keep the planet green and blue. We're not the only ones to consider Jean Beasley a hero. This past year, she received Oceania's 2013 Ocean Hero Award for her dedication to sea turtle rehabilitation. In fact, to date, the Rehabilitation Center has rescued and released more than 400 sea turtles. That's a lot of turtles. In 2007, she was also named Animal Planet's Hero of the Year. Miss Beasley is the executive director of the Karen Beasley Sea Turtle Rescue and Rehabilitation Center in Topsail Island, North Carolina. This facility helps rescue and care for sick and injured endangered sea turtles and eventually releases them back into the wild.
Welcome back to Aqua Kids.
We're headed back to talk with Molly, but this time we're getting a little bit more sentimental.
So this show is like a family to everybody, everyone, the cast and crew. What does this show mean to you, the years you did it?
It's, I don't want to get emotional. It's hard to put in words because it's so much a part of who I am. And, I mean, everything from a confidence standpoint to an environmental standpoint to just the people that I've been able to meet and the people that are important to me and the examples and the role models that I've had growing up. I think in many ways I look back and almost feel guilty about it because I've been so blessed to have so many opportunities. And I remember being underwater the first time that I dove. It's called Dog Rocks Wall. It takes days to get to it in the Bahamas, but it's this incredible pristine coral reef. And I remember what I love about it is that it has these it's almost like mountain ranges, and it's all pristine, beautiful coral, and the corals are really soft. They're not the thick, hard corals, so when the current is changing, they're just moving and swaying along. And I remember being on the very bottom, which was probably, I think, maybe 50 feet down or something, and I remember I just happened to peek up and I could see all the way through this ridge, all the way to the top, and the schools of fish were just changing with the current. And I just remember sitting down and I just stopped and I just cried underwater looking up because everything was just so peaceful and in perfect harmony. And I remember I was crying because it was so pretty, but I was also crying because I hated that not everyone on this planet gets to see some of the most beautiful things that we have to offer. And especially nowadays where our generation especially gets so caught up in Facebook and social media and what, gossip and just things that don't matter, and it's so easy to get sucked into that. And they're just some of these incredible places on Earth where you don't need drugs and you don't need alcohol. You can just be at one with the planet, and it's such a natural high. It's just, I wish that everyone had the opportunities that we've been able to have, I guess.
Absolutely.
Well, I've known George since I was an infant. Like I called him Uncle George until I was about, until I was about like 10 years old. And
then you decided you didn't want to be related to him anymore. Then you're like, yeah, we'll just go George.
Everyone on the show has just been a family away, and it's starting to rain. But I'm gonna finish this up. Just everyone on the show is just treating me like this is a family away from home. I'm just so blessed to have been able to experience it all with my family. So.
Well, it just started to rain, so we kind of have to wrap up. This happens a lot sometimes.
It's a sign. Stop talking.
We're going on and on. But Molly, we just wanted to thank you for coming here and talking to us today. It's so fun to be able to share your stories with us and our stories with you. We all look up to you and being the first Aqua Kid.
Thanks, guys. I can't express enough how proud I am. It's been something that we've all put a lot of heart and soul into, and to see the next generation come and take over. You guys just won Telly's today. I mean, it's not just me and everyone else. It's the planet that thinks that way. You guys are award-winning already, and you've been doing it for 3 years. So I can't be prouder for the legacy that you guys are continuing on.
Oh, thank
You're doing a great job.
Here's our top story, Shark Attack, a story of mistaken identity. On December 1st, 2013, 19-year-old Zach Young was attacked by a shark in New South Wales, Australia, and lost his life. Although his death was tragic, his family is speaking out. After the attack, beaches in northern New South Wales were closed for days, trying to find the shark responsible for the death. But Michael Young, Zach's brother, says that his family does not wish for the attack to result in a shark cull. He says, "We have grown up with the ocean as surfers, divers, and fishermen since most of us could walk. we understand nature and the freak nature of this tragedy. Although we believe in the tagging of large sharks, we do not wish for this to result in any sort of cull. Fellow shark diver William Winram also reflected on the death of Zach Young, commenting, "Most attacks are about curiosity or mistaken identity, and the onus for avoiding them lies with us. Like any attack, this one was tragic, but it's one of the risks that comes with surfing or swimming or diving in the sea. You're in the shark's environment." For now, we can only hope that Zach's death will be taken as a lesson to fellow divers and surfers and will not result in a shark cull. I'm Katie with Aqua News, keeping you connected to our planet. Now back to Aqua Kids.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time for today's show, but it was a lot of fun to chat with Molly and hear stories from past Aqua Kids adventures.
Absolutely, Drew. It was also fun to see just how far Aqua Kids has come since it first aired.
All of our adventures and all of the people we've met along the way really help to remind us that everyone can do their part to keep this planet green and blue.
And so can you.
So visit our website to follow us on our journey.
And learn how you can come along with us.
And together we can help keep the world
And the water.
a great place to play and explore.
And we'll see you next time
On Aqua Kids.
Aqua Kids.